Hello, Jill. Jill Caperton is in the house and has said hello. Thank you so much. Hey, before we get started, I just want to say Remy got a really short haircut, and Todd wants to bring him in to show everyone. Remy, look at his haircut. And you know what? They gave him this tie. Remy, how you doing?
Say hi.
Say hi to everyone. Anyhow, we just thought we would share. We don't get to show Remy too much because we're usually in the kitchen, and we try to share about him when we can. So anyways, thank you, Remy. All right, everyone. Hey, John Jew is here. Hello. Looking forward to learning about shrooms today. Oh, yes. Now, I do have a lot of them out here, but wait till we figure out which ones are going to be, or the one that we're going to talk about today. So if you are new here, I just want to say welcome again to my channel. My name is Jennifer Diamond, and I'm a certified plant-based nutrition coach. I live a whole food, plant-exclusive, SOFAs-free, gluten-free lifestyle for health and well-being. And living this way for me literally gave me my life back, because I had been suffering through so many illnesses and diseases, including being bedridden for 14 months, true story. And I truly believe it can help you too. So that's why I'm here today with you. And I'm so glad that you are also tuning in. Hello, Karen. Karen is in the house. Oh, Remy has a new lease on life. So cute. Thank you so much. Yeah, we went a little shorter than we normally do. And we're like, yikes, maybe it was too short, but it will grow back. And here we are in Arizona where it's, tipping over 110 degrees. So I think he'll be okay for a little bit. Thank you. So another thing I really wanted to share with you, I want to mention that starting next week, I will be traveling for the following next 3 Tuesdays, I believe. And I will not be able to go live on fun and interesting topics. However, if I can get a signal and I am in a place where I can do it, I will try to see if I can log in at our usual day and time and just share an update with you on what I'm doing, eating, where I am, and of course, answer any questions that you may have. So the beginning part of this trip, I will not be with Todd. I'm going to be going and doing more of a girls thing. So Todd being around, he'll make sure to post some regular pre-recorded videos during that time. So look out for those. And just a quick thing, I'm going to be visiting friends and family in Washington State. And then I am boarding the Princess Cruise Line heading to Alaska. It's the Holistic Holidays at Sea cruise. I've never been on one. And I'm really excited to get on there and see what that's all about. And then I'll be coming back home and I will be sharing with everyone. And then Todd and I will be taking another trip to a party for a friend who is going to be turning 50. And so we'll be heading to Vegas. So I appreciate your understanding, and I hope that we can connect while I'm away. I'll be sharing about my trip in greater details once I return. So yes, Jill says Alaska. Yes, I've never been. If anyone's been either on that cruise or to Alaska, hey, let me know in the chat any tips or tricks or anything fun that you want to share. I would love to hear about it. Okay, today I want to talk about mushrooms, not just any mushrooms, because some of the mushrooms are more like some of the more common mushrooms that I use and hear about are like the white button, cremini, portobello, oyster, the trumpet mushrooms. And I love all these. And I even have some of those here. It's like these are the white button. And I don't have cremini, but when it's a baby, it's a cremini. When it grows up, it's a portobello. And I do have one of those here. Pretty big. I do have some maitake, which is this one. Woo, kind of fun. And I have oyster mushrooms right here. Okay. So, but one I usually don't find or hear a lot about is one of the most fascinating and legendary medicinal fungi. on Earth? Yep. So for over 2,000 years, the reishi mushroom, which is right here. I have got some reishi mushroom, you guys. Look at that. If you've never seen one, here it is. And I'm just going to hold it up. These are just a few pieces. I don't have a ton of it, but check it out. Isn't that cool? This is a mushroom. Oh my gosh, we're going to learn so much about it. And so this is our superstar of the day. The reishi mushroom is called the spiritual mushroom in China. And in China, it has been treasured in traditional Chinese medicine for promoting health, vitality, and longevity. So it's also been called the mushroom of immortality in Japan and the herb of spiritual potency. And even it's shown in ancient art as a symbol of long life. So that's interesting. In fact, artists, after painting reishi alongside cranes, that's the bird and pine trees, which are two other really beautiful symbols of longevity. So they added that in there. Okay, but what is it really? Where does it come from? What does science say about its benefits? And the million-dollar question, da, 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 da. What on earth does it taste like and how do we use it? Does anybody know? Anybody familiar with this mushroom? Let me know in the chat. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be exploring all of this today. We're going to talk a little bit about the history and cultivation to nutrition, health benefits, and fun, creative ways you can bring it into your own kitchen. We got a couple things to share. We're going to be taste testing. It's all good. But before we get into all of that, I would just love and appreciate it if you would hit that thumbs up button and give this video a like. It helps me know if I'm giving you information that is helpful to you, and it allows other people to find my content. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes or videos. Now, if you've already subscribed, I truly appreciate it. I want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It really means a lot to me because you're the reason that I do this. So I want to hear from you in the comments. So ask a question, share your thoughts, or just say hi. Everybody is really friendly here, and we are happy that you're here. Lastly, if you want information or discounts on products that I use and love, updates on what else is happening in the whole food plant-based world and more, then visit my website at thejenniferdiamond.com and sign up for my monthly newsletter. I'd love to see you there. So, okay, let's talk about reishi mushrooms. Question: has anyone ever heard of reishi mushrooms? And if you have you ever tried them? I kind of asked it a little bit, but that's like the official starter question. Has anyone ever heard of it? Have you tried it? I mean, I just showed you some of it. Anyone ever seen anything like it? Let me know. Okay, so while you're putting your answers in your chat, let's talk a little bit more about them. So these that I showed you, I actually had an additional piece in here. These I purchased at our local farmer's market, where one of the farmers, Rogue Rhino Farms, isn't that a cute name, just began growing them. So they usually grow and sell other mushrooms that we purchase, like oyster or lion's mane. I don't have those today, but we do like to buy those, and a lot of other ones. So this was a special find for Todd and I really thought that they were super cool. So I personally had never seen them in their whole natural form, and I thought it would be so fun to share and learn about them all with all of you guys. So this came in a bag. I'm going to just show you the little bag, and it had a third piece in it. It wasn't a very big bag, and it was $8. $8. So they're a bit more expensive than the other type of mushrooms. Just to give you an idea of price in our area, the other mushrooms that this farm sells, they sometimes come in a little bit of a larger bag, and those usually sell for $6 a bag. Now, there's a reason for that because they take a long time to grow before they can be harvested. So the reishi mushroom is from the scientific family name of Ganoderma. And there are a lot of different varieties, including Ganoderma lucidum. Did I say that correctly? I did? Okay. And it's not your typical mushroom, because unlike the soft, fleshy mushrooms that you would toss into an air fry, like this one, or the oyster, the white button, or the cremini, or the portobello, right? All of these that we just spoke about. The reishi mushroom has this tough, woody texture, and it's got this shiny reddish brown cap that almost looks like varnish when it's really fresh. Now, I bought these, you know, about a week ago already. No, maybe not. A handful of days ago. And so they are not as shiny. It tends to change over time. But I do want to see here, show you. And it's really, really interesting. And then here's like a backside. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, and here's this one. And the reason that I don't have the third piece is because I made something with it, and I'm going to share with you as we, progress today. So let's just check the chat here for a minute. Just seeing if you're listening. No. So John Ju says, yes, I have tried them. Oh, you have? In the raw form? How did you try them? What way, and what did you do with them, or how did you enjoy them? And Jill Caperton said, I've heard of it, but I have never seen or eaten before. So you and I were kind of in the same boat, although now I can't say that because now I have seen them. Okay, interesting. Instead of gills, so here's a portobello mushroom. Okay, I just want to show you. These underneath here, this is a great one to show. These are gills. Gills is like this brown, can you see that? Can just kind of, they look like little gills. And I thought this would show it very well. Okay, the reishi mushroom doesn't have any gills underneath, which I kind of just showed you. What they have are tiny little pores that release billions of spores, which can be collected and extracted and used for medicinal purposes. And you can't really see it here, but it's really interesting to, to see how they kind of produce and are collected. So you might find that they look varnished, like I had mentioned, and sometimes they have been called the varnished conch. Well, as it ages and dries out, it will lose some of that shininess, like we had mentioned, and I showed these right here. But if you go and if you picked one up in the wild, you'd notice right away it's hard. You couldn't just bite right into it or slice it and saute it for dinner. So we're going to talk about how to use them in a little bit. But first, let's talk about their history. So anybody else have anything they want to mention regarding if they've ever heard of reishi mushrooms, or if they've had them, or any other follow-up? I do not see anything. So please feel free to add it in the comments at any time. We'd love to hear that from you guys. It's kind of fun to see what people have experienced. One of the first ways that I remember trying them was, if you want to call it that way, was in a drink. And I think it was about 10 or 12 years ago or so. And it was a sample at our local Whole Foods. I can still remember it. And I just loved it. And so I went ahead and saw, was trying to see if I could find it. I do have a bottle here. This is called Rebel, and it's the reishi chocolate. And this was the first way that I was able to try it. So I thought it was interesting. But when I looked in the back of the bottle here, it says that it has reishi extract. So then I was like, But that was then. That's not something that I really eat or drink, I should say, these days. But I thought it was fun, and I wanted to share my first experience, sort of. Okay, let's see what's going on in the chat. Let's see. John Juice says, a friend made them for me. Oh, you're kidding. They got it at their farmer's market. It was tasty, I think. Okay, so maybe it was a while ago. That's cool. That's cool. So kind of like what we have going on here today. All right. Well, I've got another question for you guys. Does anyone know, or can you guess what nutrient compounds reishi mushrooms have in abundance? It's fine if you don't know. It's fun to just guess. So go ahead and put your comment in the chat. And while you're answering that, let's take like just a little quick trip back in time. You know, we don't have the ability to do that, you know, when the screen looks like wobbly, because we're going to think about back in time. Yes, I'm silly today. Okay, so like I said at the beginning, reishi has been part of a traditional Chinese medicine for more than 2,000 years. And in ancient China, it was so rare in the wild that it was reserved for royalty only. And ancient Chinese emperors sent expeditions into remote mountains just to find wild reishi. So if you were a commoner, the only way that, or the only time that you might see reishi was in artwork. They'd carve pictures of it into furniture. It was painted in scrolls, or even embroidered on silk that they would make. And it was also seen as medicine, as well as a symbol of spiritual potency. Resilience and long life. So now in Japanese culture, it's called maitake, I think is how you pronounce that, which means 10,000 year mushroom. Again, it's tying it into the idea of longevity. So I want to show you what it looks like when it's growing in the wild. So let's put a picture up right here. This is what you might see if you were foraging it. And you see, we're looking kind of down, you know, so if you're looking at the trunk of the tree, it kind of grows sideways. In nature, reishi grows mainly on hardwood trees like maple or oak and hemlock. And it prefers warm, humid climates like parts of China, Japan, Korea, and Southeast Asia. Now, wild reishi is rare, but modern growing and cultivation methods have made it widely available. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, let me just take, okay, so cultivation isn't just about convenience though. It's also about making reishi more sustainable. Wild harvested reishi can be quite expensive. And it also puts pressure on natural ecosystems. And I know a lot of people, most of us are very concerned with that. So cultivated reishi helps meet demands without depleting nature. And which is super cool, right? And that is because farm-grown mushrooms reduce the need for forage for wild mushrooms, which helps prevent damage to the trees or the forests and the natural biodiversity that rely on those ecosystems. So that way, wild reishi populations stay intact, keeping their natural genetics healthy instead of being over-harvested or weakened. So plus, like I mentioned before, they take a long time to grow. Growing wild reishi mushrooms can take several months to typically ranging like from 3 to 6 months from the initial spore germination to a harvestable size. That's a long time. Gotta just wait. What do you do? What is that? Twiddle? Twiddle your thumbs. Reishi is known for its relatively slow growth compared to other mushrooms. So some sources say that the spore colonization process alone, just that part alone, can take 6 to 12 weeks, depending on what it's growing on and the environment. So if you're interested in growing your own reishi mushrooms, I understand, I haven't done it myself, but you can purchase fruiting blocks from local nurseries or suppliers. Maybe check in your local area and you might learn more about that. And they usually come in these 5-pound blocks. They're made out of sawdust and bran, and they're supposed to mimic like the natural logs. They should come already impregnated with the mushroom spawn, and they can take a few months to grow from the spawn to the harvesting stage. So if you're in a hurry, maybe just buy them at the farmer's market like I did, or a store if you can find one that sells organic natural produce. So let's check the chat here. Anything going on here, Todd? Okay, hello, Crystal is here. Mushrooms are good and help avoid breast cancer. Awesome. And we need to make sure that we are keeping all of our insides protected. And that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that, and welcome. You can also find reishi extract, which is a concentrated form of the reishi mushroom traditionally used in Asian medicine. Okay, so we're going to start to talk about things like, protective and breast cancer avoidance and things like that. So it's made by extracting beneficial compounds from the mushroom, and that would be like polysaccharides and triterpenes, which I'm going to explain in a few minutes because you might be going, what? And I was too. Reishi extract is usually available as a capsules. You can find it in powder forms and liquid tinctures. So I want to show an image. I think we have here the stages of the growth here. So you can see there are 3 different stages. And so for my foragers out there, what you should look for. Like, what are you going to look for? Well, when it's fresh and young, you might see it in different colors depending on its age. It starts as yellow, and then it becomes more of an orange color, and then a fiery red color. And as it matures, it can turn into more of like a maroon, dark red, like you see in one of these here. I think in the middle one, I would say, is the older one, and it does say that as well. Let's change pictures. You want to show that one. Look at that. See what the varnishy shininess looks like? Oh my gosh. When it is picked at the more mature age, it has a chance to produce spores, and then drop the spores to produce future reishi mushrooms successfully in the future. Okay, so let's talk about what's inside this mighty mushroom. Reishi isn't a mushroom you can eat for protein or calories. It's all about the powerful plant chemicals inside that act almost like a natural pharmacy. So we'll talk about a couple of them. The main ones we're going to get into here. Okay, you want me to look in there?
Check the chat.
Check the chat. Check the chat. Okay.
Answer the question.
Oh, okay. Where's the question?
It was, what is the goodness that's in a reishi mushroom?
Oh, what I asked the question. Thank you, sweetheart.
You're welcome.
I love teaming with you. Okay, so Karen says it's D. Excellent. And Jill says, is it vitamin C? Question mark. Also, good one. Crystal, we talked about that. Okay. And so, yeah, let's keep going and find out. So polysaccharides is one of the main ones of the chemicals inside, especially beta glucans. Okay, what is that? Those are long chains of sugar blocks. So I want you to think of this as a really long train that's made up of many train cars, and they're all linked together. Sugar units, called monosaccharides, are like the single train car. When a bunch of those sugar train cars are linked together, then you get a polysaccharide, okay? And that our body uses for different jobs. Now, beta glucans do a few things, including supporting your immune system. So instead of pushing it into always being on or off, they help your immune cell to respond appropriately. Okay, so if your immune system, so here's an example. If your immune system is feeling sluggish, beta glucans can wake it up and get it ready to defend, right? Because that's what our immune system, it's our fight. It's our keeping us all nice and healthy. Okay, now, what if your immune system is overreacting? Mine has been famous for doing that, right? And what's an example of that would be like with allergies or inflammation, which is what I have experienced for so many years. So they can help to calm it down. So that's why researchers say they help modulate immunity, right? They balance rather than overstimulate. Isn't that cool, you guys? Like it knows, it goes into the body and it's like, what does the body need? It just doesn't go into the body and do one job. I thought that was so cool. Okay, now, oh gosh, this one is a hard one. Triterpenes, which is another one that's commonly used, they're bitter. They're bitter tasting compounds that give reishi its signature flavor. But in the body, they work like firefighters, okay? So they help put out the fires of inflammation, and they support your liver, which is like your body's natural detox center, processing everything from food to our environmental toxins. And some studies show triterpenes may even discourage, are you ready for this? Tumor growth in lab settings. So that's why they know, because they've seen it. And they can also help suppress histamine release, which is an allergic response that increases inflammation associated with things like wheezing or coughing or sniffling and itching. You know, if you've ever had allergies and they have you take something over the counter, an antihistamine, right? This one is a natural histamine. Okay, sterols are plant-based cousins of cholesterol. So we're going to talk about another one. Instead of clogging arteries like the bad cholesterol can, they can help your body balance cholesterol levels. So you can think of them as like gentle, like traffic controllers, I guess, in your bloodstream, helping maintain smoother circulation and heart health. It's so cool, all the things that are in this little guy right here. Then there's peptidoglycans. Say it.
Peptidoglycans.
Peptidoglycans. Wow. Okay. Anyone know how to say that? 10 times fast? This one I know. It sounds really complicated, but you can think of the peptidoglycans as the messengers in reishi. So they interact with the immune cells, passing along signals that can help strengthen your body's natural defenses. Wow, isn't that jaw-dropping? So let's check the chat if anyone said anything about, do you know about the compounds? And we did. We had some guesses here as to D and the vitamin C question mark. So not exactly what I was picking up, but great guesses. Now, I do want to mention Karen Zerlin said D. I just want to, for a second, talk about D is a really good answer because with mushrooms that are grown in the wild, that are grown outdoors, and that are in the sunlight, they do collect vitamin D. A lot of the mushrooms that you see, even the button mushrooms that you see in the grocery stores, they're grown in like controlled environments with lighting, so they don't have the D. So that was a really good, and there are D. And I used to buy these one mushrooms and it would say with vitamin D. And I would be like, oh, those were grown outside because they don't add anything to it. So I just thought since we had a vitamin D guess in there that we would for a second touch on that. Okay. So while reishi mushrooms are great for supporting your immune health, reducing inflammation, helping balance the cholesterol, there are studies that show they are also beneficial for things like your liver health, your heart health, your blood sugar regulation, and one that it's particularly known for, ready? Stress and fatigue reduction. It's like, where is my reishi mushroom when I need it? There are also studies that show beneficial anti-cancer properties. And we had Crystal talk about that, and she was correct. So what happens, the reishi extracts were shown to slow the tumor growth and prevent cancer cell spread. I mean, it's just amazing that we can have something right here that can help us with that. There are even studies that have shown that this mushroom possesses anti-cancer properties, and it is effective against certain cell cultures like neuroblastoma. Okay, that's a cancer that usually affects kids 10 and younger. All right, here's a disclaimer. Got to put those in there. Even though the results from the studies are exciting, and they are, and I was excited to read about them, a lot of them are smaller in scale. And so we still need to do much more large-scaled research. But the bottom line is that reishi mushrooms, they're not a magic pill, but they can be a very powerful part of a long-term wellness plan when combined with a healthy lifestyle. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the taste and the flavor, because it's different. Reishi mushrooms are supposedly bitter, like a very strong herbal tea crossed with earthy wood. if you're into that kind of flavor. Okay, you probably wouldn't put it on a whole food plant-based pizza, okay, or in your salad, like just how it is. But just so you know, bitterness isn't a bad thing. It's often a sign of potent plant compounds. Have you guys ever heard of the saying, bitter is better, when it comes to health and whole food plant-based? I have. And so, yeah. Because of the taste and the texture, reishi is usually used in certain things like tea, soups. Okay, well, if you were going to do it in a tea, you would simmer dried slices for like 30 to 60 minutes. Soups, you can use it in soups. Use it to flavor the soups and stews. You can get it in a powder form, and you can add that to smoothies or soup or coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but my husband is. So you can often blend with or find it in blends like cacao and other mushrooms in it, with powders and things like that. Another form is extracts or tinctures. So those would be your concentrated forms that you can use when you do it with a little dropper, because it's a liquid. And then, of course, capsules. Those are easy for consistent dosage. And some people I know buy them in the capsule so they know how much they're taking, but then they open it and they sprinkle it on their salad, or you can make it in your salad dressing if you're going to make a small amount and consume the whole amount with that salad. Those are other ways or you can just put it on the salad, add your dressing, and then kind of mix it there. Okay, so quick tip. You can pair reishi with spices, and it's important because of the bitterness. So you can pair it with a cinnamon or ginger, and that will really help balance out the bitterness. Okay, so what I want to do is show you and have Todd come over here. I made some tea, and we're going to taste it. We have not tried it yet. Okay, so if you want to use reishi mushrooms to make tea, you don't have to dry it out. All you have to do is cut up and tear the bunches of slices, which maybe I can do before we test it. So let me just move a few of these so that you guys can really see what's going on here. Let me move some of these out of the way. And just, I'll take a piece of this. Now, you can literally just tear it. And we can just break pieces. Whoops, you can just tear pieces off like this, you know, and have little pieces like that. Or you can take a knife if you want, and you can just slice it. And it's kind, I mean, it's woody, it's firm, and just make it into these little slices here. And you can keep it as a slice, right? Or you can even cut it more, you know, like into these smaller pieces like this. You can use it like this. The thing is, you're going to have to use more of it when you make it with tea because it's not dried. When it's dried, it's concentrated. So I did just a tiny little bit. This right here is dehydrated. I just took some and dehydrated it just so we could see the difference, you know, and here we go. This is the dried and this is the wet or the non-dried. And I mean, the smell is really interesting too. Okay, so then what you would do is, and I have it here, and it's not super hot anymore, so I'm able to hold on to it. You could just put some water in whatever you're going to have it here, and then just put a bunch of the slices in the pot. You can do it with warm water. And then what I like to do is let it simmer for a few hours. This was simmering for 90 minutes, I think an hour and a half. We did not have as much of the reishi as I would have liked to put in here because I used fresh. Had it been dry, I would have probably liked, you know, like a bigger amount, like 3 ounces. You can put up to like, I don't know, like triple that when you're using fresh. But here, I'm just going to show you what it looks like, you know, when it's wet and it's been soaking. And then look at this beautiful color right here. Isn't that amazing? So this is having it simmer for a few hours. It's going to give it enough time to pull out some of those beneficial compounds. And then if you want, like the last 10 minutes of it, you know, cooking or simmering, you can add other things. Like you could add ginger. I didn't add anything here, but you could add ginger. I really think it would be cool to add orange peel. If you're going to add orange peel, I highly recommend that it's organic so that you're not taking whatever's on the outside of the peel and then, you know, simmering it. And then depending on, you know, if you're a sweetie, a sweet person enjoying sweetness, you can add a sweetener of some sort like date syrup. And I know some people are on the fence about whether they like honey or not because honey is not vegan, but you could use date syrup, you could use maple syrup, and any kind of sweetener will work. So then all you're going to do is you're going to grab a strainer. In this case, I didn't have to because it just popped right out here. And then you're going to filter out the mushroom pieces, and then any of the particles will stay back, and then we can pour it into a cup. So I am going to do that right now. And then Todd, would you come in and sample this with me? It's not, it's just warm. It's not hot anymore.
Hello again.
Hello. Here
Hello.
he is. Here he is. Okay. So before you taste it,
Yes.
let's talk about the color, the smell, anything else. And you can even compare it to the fresh here or to the dried here.
Okay.
Go ahead. Let's see what he
the
says.
color is kind of this light, foggy brown color.
And we didn't add anything to it. This is just straight. So there's no sweetener. There's no cinnamon. There's nothing.
It smells just like mushrooms.
It smells. Let me take a
smell. It
smell.
smells like a mushroom.
Yeah. It really does.
It does.
It really does.
I mean, if I smell like the...
Well, this one is cut up, so you'll be able to smell this better. Here, honey.
The regular, I know, but the regular reishi...
This is the regular.
It smells... I mean, it's a little bit different than like a button or a cremini or a portobello smell.
Yeah.
But this smells just like a normal mushroom. Should I taste this?
Sure.
Okay. And now, I'm not a very big fan of mushrooms, so...
Bummer. I love mushrooms, but he's right. And so thank you for being kind enough to try something that you're not a big fan of.
I'm like the court taster.
Here we go. Just plain. So
yeah, it's still got a little bit of a tartness to it, right on the front. But then you do get a very mushroomy kind of flavor on the, right after that.
So I know you're not really into cinnamon, but if somebody wanted to add cinnamon, they could,
Sure.
or ginger, which I know you do really like.
I think you were spot on with the orange peel or orange zest or orange something.
Okay. Yeah,
I think that would be interesting.
We can add that at any time and just let it just simmer for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it should really bring it in. May I taste it?
Of course you may. It's your show. And?
Mushroomy. But you know what? It's really interesting because when I first had it go in, I felt like water.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it gets to the back of the tongue and swallow, mushroom.
Yeah.
Very mild mushroom.
Yeah.
I would like to also ask you to take a little bit of this, and just.
You want me to taste it just like that?
No, this is woody. Just like play with it, smell it.
Play with it.
It smells to me varnishy.
You know, it's interesting when I squeeze it.
Yeah.
You can see, you're never going to see this on camera, but
well, go close to the camera and
you can see that there is, I don't know if you can see that.
Liquid. It's like a liquid.
Maybe I can squeeze it this way. Yeah, there's a liquid. Oh, there it is. Can you see that? There.
Yep. Good job, honey.
Thank you. There obviously is liquid in there.
Well, yes,
Doesn't taste like much.
So how does it smell?
Oh. It smells like wood. It smells like wet wood is what it smells like.
To me, it smells like varnish.
Oh, okay. Wet wood with varnish on it.
Now,
it actually does. It does have a kind of a varnishy smell.
We could take a little taste. It is not recommended, but I wouldn't swallow it if you want to just, you can. I don't know. It's yucky.
It is yucky.
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that.
That's not good.
Mm-mm.
Don't eat these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
That's gross.
Wait. Okay. So this is the dried. We dehydrated just a few pieces here.
It's super bitter.
Super bitter, right? And
yeah,
so that's
when I say yucky and gross, it's just because it's really bitter.
And it's not like, can you describe it with any other food that you've ever had that has that? It's very different.
It still tastes very much like a mushroom. Once you get past the, eye rolling, curling of the hair bitterness.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So this is dehydrated. This is
I'm not tasting that.
No, you don't. But if you wanted to just smell it or, compare it with the one that wasn't.
It literally is just like wood. It breaks.
Like wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smell it. Take a smell.
Yeah. Same smell. Kind of a varnishy wood.
I thought it smelled different.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
What do you think it smells like?
Okay. Try. Smell.
Well, it's not as intense as that.
Not as intense. Okay, so
All
there
right.
you have it.
There it is.
So we have, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And
drink it, steep it.
Steep it. And we'll add the orange peel to it.
Don't bite into it.
Yeah, don't bite into it.
No.
Don't bite into it. Did you want to take this right now?
Take what?
Do you want to take it with you? Or are you okay to leave
No,
it?
you can have it. You're good.
I'm just going to leave it right here.
Okay.
Okay. So, so what do you guys think of that? Any questions about what we just talked about? Anything that we could help you with? All right. So another common way to use it would be in its powder form. So whether that's in a capsule, you can buy it in bulk powder. And I just already showed you about the small amount that I dehydrated here. What I wanted to do was make this into a powder with you. Okay. So let's see, we're doing okay with time. So I think I'll do that. So you can, before I do that, I'll just share, you can simply swallow a capsule, right, with like 8 ounces of water. If you're using the powdered version, a typical dose, I think we saw in like a bottle, would be about a teaspoon, or they said 2,000 milligrams for an 8 to 12 ounce serving, depending on how it was being extracted and how strong you want it to taste. It's just a general, just to get you an idea. I also understand that the best results are being consistent and using it over time if you're using it for healing. So I did not take this out. Let me quickly take this out. This is my little coffee grinder. Let's go ahead and see if we can grind this up and just see how simple making your own powder is. Once you have it, if you have a dehydrator and you dehydrate it, and I wouldn't do this tiny bit, if you can get a substantial amount and you can do it, then you can get bottles of it and it will last for a long, long time. Let me go ahead and plug this in. Todd, you want to do a little dancey dance with me? It's just going to be a quick one.
All right, dancey dance.
Ready? I mean, it's just going to be like a Ready?
You ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Go. You guys, can you get up?
Now you're going for longer.
And do a little dance?
Okay.
Oh my gosh, okay. That's hard to do because this button you have to hold while it does it. Okay. And I think that it would need a little bit longer because I can hear that it still needs a lot of grinding. I could hear some pieces that are not crumbled, but just to give you an idea, you know, this is like, oh yeah, this needs a lot more grinding up. I want it in a powder form. But anyways, we did that, and I will work on that when we're not here together because apparently that's going to take a little bit of time, okay? I just want to say hi. I see Marilyn is here. I'm late. Hi, everyone. You're never late. You're right on time. That's what Todd said, and I agree. Thank you for being here, okay? Wow, that was great. That just gets my blood pumping every time we do some kind of fun dance.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. If you decide to try reishi, look for the organic products to avoid contaminants like heavy metals or pesticides. Here I'm talking about that if you're going to use the orange peel. Try to make sure you think about that in this form. And when possible, you can, if you can, choose cultivated over wild harvested to protect the natural forest, if you can. Reishi can be cooked in dishes. So what would I cook it in? Chilies, soups like any soup, but like broccoli soup, miso soup, vegetable soups, squash bisque if you're into that, tomato soup, which is one of Todd's favorites, and so on. You could just, sky's the limit. So today I am going to share a basic recipe for reishi mushroom broth that I made. And then what you can do is use this broth to become the base for any soup. So I have it in the Instant Pot behind me, and I haven't strained it. I'm going to open it up for you. But I basically put in 8 cups of water. I put in 4 cups of veggie scraps. Now, what I do is when I have fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, you could do fruits, but I usually just do vegetables. Onions, garlic, carrots, any vegetables where I cut anything off, the tops, whatever, I collect those and I freeze them in a bag. And I wait until the bag is full, like a gallon Ziploc bag or whatever. And then I use that in the Instant Pot to make vegetable soup. But to make reishi broth, I thought it would be interesting to add some other flavors to it. So I just took a small amount, 4 cups of the veggie scraps and the 8 cups of water. And then I took a half of an onion, a regular onion. I put this all in the Instant Pot. An inch piece of fresh ginger. I did 4 giant cloves of garlic. And then I also did some, you could use either. I used dulse only because the package was opened, or you can use kombu. And these are really great for you to get your all your sea vegetables in. And so just putting a little piece in that. Then I had a small leek. I want to show the leek. I think I forgot to bring it out here. Here it is. 1 second. Boy, you guys are great. I cut this. This was a leek that I cut straight down the middle, and I opened it. And I only used half. I washed it. I cut it into small pieces. I threw that in there. The reason why I wanted to show you this one, if you're not familiar with the leek, it is in the onion family. I used the whole thing. The tops, the bottoms, the whole thing. But I wanted to show you that if you get one of these and you're not familiar with it, you're going to want to separate and wash. And I started to do it. Wash each piece because you're going to find dirt and you're not going to believe it. Oh my gosh, how dirty it is. Look, see? And you're going to want to go with each piece all the way down. And so I just wanted to make sure that you, if you're not familiar with leeks, make sure you wash them really well. Then I took a 1/4 cup of our reishi mushrooms. And I want to say, whether you're using dry or wet, of course, if it's not wet, what is this? Not dry, fresh. You're always going to want to put more in of the fresh, like I said, than you would want to put in of the dry, because the flavor will be stronger. What I like to do, if I'm making something like a soup where I'm not doing this whole thing as a broth, think of reishi mushroom in the broth and use it like a bay leaf. Have you ever put a bay leaf in a soup? When you're done, you want to extract it and take it out. I would do the same thing for this. But in this case, I don't have to worry about it because I'm going to strain the whole thing. And then I like to add, you don't have to do this, you could just do this, but I would also add maybe some other dried mushrooms just to give it another blend of flavors. And you don't have to do that. You could just use the reishi. You don't want to use a ton of reishi, but you do want to use some. And then black pepper, that's it. So what I did was I cooked it in the Instant Pot for 1 hour under high pressure. You don't have an Instant Pot? Maybe you have a slow cooker? Put it in the slow cooker for maybe 3 to 4 hours. I would do it on low. You don't have that? Okay, go to the stovetop, put it in a big pot, and you're gonna have to babysit it. You're gonna have to watch that one. And that one, I would say 4 to 6 hours, or until you see that the broth is becoming dark. And then you can strain the broth and you can serve it. So, excuse me, these mushrooms, these dried mushrooms, they're like, they get to my throat. So I'm going to move them over here, even though they're very tasty. Then you can store your broth in the refrigerator for a week, or you can, let it cool, and you can, I measure mine out, and then I put it in, we have freezer, food saver machine, and then I just can put it in the freezer, and then it'll last for 6 months. I use it. I think it'll last indefinitely. Okay, so let me strain just a little bit of this. It's going to take too long to strain the whole thing with you, so let's just do a little, and then we're going to have Todd taste this broth. Okay?
Yay.
All right, so I kind of wanted to at least do some of it with you so you could see. This has already been, cooked and ready to go. And wow, it smells great. And so my veggie broth, I'm going to bring it over here to show you, had carrots and all kinds of stuff in it. Let's see. Look at that. Can you see that, you guys? It smells really good. Now, I like to use the scraps, but then once I have the broth, then I can go ahead and use it as a base, and then I can make anything I want with it. How do I strain this? I usually use the bigger Vitamix container. This is the smaller one. This is the dry one. Whatever container. I like to put in a nut bag, a nut milk. This is for nut milk. You can use this bag or those paint bags that you get at Home Depot or whatever, and just do it that way. So let's just do a little bit to show you how I would do it. So I line the bag in there, and then I just take some of this and I just pour it in there. Da, 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 da. And I'm not going to do the whole thing, of course, because you're not going to want to watch me. It's going to take a little bit of time. And so then when I fill up this entire thing, then what I do is, and of course, if it's hot, guys, let it cool a little, or wear some gloves, like oven mitt gloves. I have these, which I should be doing. I'll have to show you the ones that I have. They're kind of rubber, so they're not cloth, so I can squeeze in and use them for hot things. This is not super hot, but it is definitely warm. Oh my gosh. Has anyone ever tried something like this? You guys think you would? All right, so I'm going to stop right now with this. And let me move this out of the way. And then I am oh, that's so nice, sweetie. He brought me the glove. Da, 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 da. This one is like a Cuisinart at the KitchenAid. I mean, whatever. So, but it's like this rubber, and that works. Oh, where are you going? You're going to taste it, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm
Would
coming
you
back.
please?
Yep.
Okay.
Back for more mushrooms.
Okay. So, whoops, here you go.
Okay.
So, I'm just going to pour. So, here you go. You can see the clear broth and can smell.
Yeah, it's mushrooms.
But
It's also, there's also a lot of vegetable going on in there also.
Yeah. So I was going to say, how do you compare it with the tea?
Well, the tea smells a lot more mushroomy.
Yeah, I'm going to try a little with you. Mushroomy. Okay. Now, you could just get some buckwheat noodles or any kind of noodles, cook them separately and add it in here. There you go. But you can also, like I said, use this as a base for so many things. Mm-hmm. There's your spoon. There's my spoon. Let's give this a taste.
Let's taste some mushroom broth.
Okay. I mean, really smell it. Ooh, wow.
It's actually really good.
That is yummy.
The addition of the other vegetables, I think, really kind of balances it out.
Yeah, that's the thing. With these kind of mushrooms, because they're so bitter, any other flavors kind of helps it.
Yeah.
So that's why we talked about with the tea, different things you could do. But this is as a base, then you can add other flavors, fresh oregano or rosemary and all the different vegetables. You can add sweeter vegetables to it, like carrots and red bell peppers, zucchinis, broccoli. I mean, even we have Romanesco right here. Anything that you want, zucchini, and just make a beautiful vegetable soup. You can even put tofu in there or beans, and then we're talking kind of maybe like a chili.
Yeah, or like you said, tofu would be very much like almost like a miso soup.
Yeah, miso paste is another thing that you could add to this, which would be great. Crystal says, I put a strainer in a batter bowl and then pour it in. Oh, that's a good idea. The reason that I like to do it this way is because then I can pour it after the fact. But sometimes the containers are not large enough if I do like a full one. And then I do use like a big bowl like this. And then sometimes I have to transfer it and I just use my ladle. But whatever works. That is so exciting that you do make things like this and strain them. What else do you want to say about your taste test to everyone?
No, it's good. It's for someone who's not as huge a fan of mushrooms as you are. This is actually really nice. It's nicely balanced with all the other vegetables. Certainly less of a mushroom-specific flavor, although you still do get that.
Yeah, and if you wanted to, you could do the reishi mushrooms, and you could add all these other mushrooms that we have here, and you can add them in and have a really, really diverse, beautiful mushroom flavored broth as well. It's so diverse, but getting the reishi mushrooms in there, you get all those benefits that we talked about, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and I think mushrooms in general are just super awesome.
They really are. Yeah. They really are.
But
so
this one in particular sounds really good too.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So to wrap this up, reishi mushrooms are a fascinating bridge between the ancient tradition and modern wellness science, right? So they're not a quick fix, but they're a powerful example of how nature provides us with complex, beneficial compounds that work best as part of a consistent, healthy lifestyle. So if you're curious, maybe start small, maybe try a little bit of reishi tea or the powder blend in your morning smoothie, and then see how it feels for you over time. And always remember, your health is built day by day. It's built choice by choice, your choices. So reishi can be one of those choices, but it works best alongside nourishing foods, regular movement, good sleep, and stress management. Of course, all the things, right? And so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're watching this as a replay, go ahead, put a comment or a question in the comments, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Also, I had mentioned this at the beginning. I want to mention it here in case you weren't with me at the beginning. But as a reminder, I want to mention that starting next week, I will be traveling for the following next 3 Tuesdays and will not be able to go live on fun and interesting topics. But if I get a signal and am in a place where I can do it, I'm going to try and see if I can log in at our usual time and share an update on what I'm doing, what I'm eating, where I'm at, and of course, answer any questions that you may have, any comments, anything, just to say hi. Now, I mentioned also Todd's not going to be going with me, so he will be posting some pre-recorded videos during this time on different days, and so look for those. I will be visiting some friends and family in Washington State, and then boarding the Princess Cruise Line, headed to Alaska for my first time. Going to Alaska, also my first time being with Holistic Holidays at Sea Cruise. And I'm really excited, as I have never been on those, like I just mentioned. So I appreciate your understanding, and I hope that we can connect while I'm away. But don't worry, I'll be back, and I will be sharing about my trip in greater detail once I return. So you guys, I just want to say thank you so much, all of you, for hanging out with me today. And like I always say, don't forget to eat your greens and give plants a chance. Take care, everyone, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.